Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to the Adjutant. On this channel, I break down complex topics into clear, practical information you can actually use. No hype, no noise, just clarity. Now, military pay versus civilian pay. This is one of the biggest questions service members ask when deciding whether to stay in or get out. Some people say, you'll make way more money out there on the outside. Others say you're crazy to leave the military paycheck behind. Today, we're cutting through all the noise. I'm breaking down military pay versus civilian pay. What counts, what doesn't, and what makes people forget to factor in so you can make smart, informed decisions for your future. Now, when people talk about military pay, they usually only think about base pay. But base pay is just the beginning, folks. Military compensation includes base pay, basic allowance for housing, or BAH, basic allowance for substance, or BAS, tax advantages, health care, retirement benefits, education benefits, paid leave, and job security. Here's the key point. A large portion of military pay is not even taxed. BAH and BAS are tax-free. That alone can be worth thousands of dollars a year compared to your civilian paycheck. And let's not forget healthcare, folks. In the civilian world, healthcare can easily cost $400 to $1,000 a month or more, plus deductibles, plus co-pays. In the military, that cost is either extremely low or zero. So when someone says, I make more money than you as a civilian, the real question is, what are you paying out of pocket that service members aren't? It's kind of like the saying, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. I would rather be someone who worked at McDonald's making $30,000 a year with $1,000 of expenses a month than someone making $1 million a year and having $1.5 million worth of expenses. Because in effect, the person working at McDonald's has more money and more wealth. Now let's talk about civilian pay. Yes, civilian jobs often advertise higher salaries. You might see $80,000, $100,000, and quite frankly, a lot more, particularly in the age of AI. But salary alone doesn't equal take-home pay. In the civilian world, your full income is taxed. You pay for healthcare, you pay for dental, you pay for vision, you may pay for retirement matching gaps, but you may have less paid leave. And unlike the military job, job security is not guaranteed. Layoffs happen, companies downsize, and contracts end. In the military, your paycheck keeps coming regardless of the economy. You know, even when the government shuts down, and if there's even a lapse of pay, you know you're going to get paid. And in recent history, when there was a government shutdown, the president and leaders found money elsewhere and were able to ensure service members were rightfully paid. Now, apples to apples comparison, let's talk about that. Here's where people get it all wrong, folks. They compare military base pay to civilian gross salary. That's not an apples to apples comparison. A fair comparison looks at your total compensation, taxes, benefits, out-of-pocket expenses. So when you stack everything together, many mid-career service members would need a significantly higher salary just to even break even. Now, in some cases, a $75,000 military compensation package requires, listen to this, folks, a $100,000 plus civilian salary just to match the same lifestyle. And that surprises a lot of people because a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Now let's talk about the retirement, because this is the long game, folks. Think long term. Now, in military retirement, starts earlier, is guaranteed, adjusts with inflation, and comes with health care benefits. Most civilian jobs rely on the 401ks, market performance, employer matching, and personal discipline. Key, personal discipline. There is no guaranteed pension for most civilian jobs. Did y'all know that? For service members close to retirement, this is huge, huge. Walking away from a military pension can mean giving up millions of dollars over a lifetime. And let me tell you, that is absolutely correct. I cannot tell you how many folks that I knew when I was, in my Army younger formative years that said, I'm tired of the military. I want to get out. I hate this, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, those same folks wish they had stayed in. I remember when I was practicing law as a criminal defense attorney in a federal hearing, and there was a prosecutor who was in the Marine Corps. Very nice young lady. She had spent like 10 years in the Marine Corps, and she told me that one of her biggest regrets was not staying in the Marine Corps. She wished that she had retired because I was retired, practicing law, and doing a whole bunch of things. But anyway, so remember, if you're close to retirement, you might want to consider staying in. If you do 10, you can do 20. That's what I like to say. That doesn't mean getting out is wrong. Keep that in mind. You always got to, do you, boo, as they say. But you got to think about it. It means the decision must, however, be intentional and informed. So, who really makes more? The real answer is, like everything in life, it depends. Depends on your rank, depends on your time in service, depends on the location, because you got locality pay, depends on your family size, your career field, civilian job stability. Some civilian jobs, you pretty much got to, delete somebody in order to get fired from that job. Some people absolutely do better financially as civilians. There are folks out there that, the military, no matter what, is not for them. But when I was in the military, I met folks from all walks of life, from the foothills of Kentucky. Kentucky is the foothills of Kentucky, to the mountains of West Virginia, to the city of New York. So there are all kind of folks out there, and some people, the military is not just for them. Others would take a major pay cut, even with a higher salary. The biggest mistake is making the decision, however, based on emotion instead of math. So whether you stay in or get out, the goal is the same: financial stability, long-term freedom. So what you want to do the math, ask the hard questions, and don't let anyone oversimplify the decision that affects your life. If this breakdown has helped you, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's weighing this exact choice. This is the Adjutant, bringing you clarity to military life, money, and decisions that matter. Now, before we wrap up, I would like to leave you with this. Information only matters if you understand it, and understanding gives you options, whether we're talking about military pay, benefits, travel, or bigger life decisions. The goal here is always the same: clarity over confusion. Too many people move through systems they don't fully understand, and that costs them time, money, and peace of mind. My goal with this channel is to slow things down, break things apart, and give you the context you need to make better decisions in your life. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know enough to ask the right questions, because that's where real leverage starts. Again, if this video has helped you, hit that like button so it reaches the people who need it, and subscribe if you want clear, straightforward breakdowns without all the noise. I read the comments, I pay attention to what you want covered next, and I treat this channel like a conversation and not a lecture. Remember this: your time matters, your decisions matter, and understanding the systems you're operating in matters more than most people realize. Stay informed, stay intentional. I wish you blessings and blessings. I am the Adjutant, and I'll see you in the next one. Shalom.